It's Thursday, class, so here's the first part of our lesson. So our objective for this first part is that I will be able to describe the overall structure of an opinion text, and I'll be able to identify the features of an opinion text, including the author's opinion and supporting reasons. So remember in an earlier lesson, it was yesterday, we analyzed the chronological structure of the informational text, The Town Tackles Energy Debate. We talked about how the reporter of this newspaper article organized it so the events showed what happened first, second, and third during that town meeting. In this lesson, we're going to analyze the structure of one of the opinion texts contained in the editorial pages. So we looked at the structure of the actual meeting, and now we're going to look at the structure of these, the structure of one of the editorial pages, one of these opinions. So we're going to be filling out this chart right here. So let's drag it on down to our opinion that we're going to be looking at. Remember, these are people who are saying if they think we should use natural gas or if we should use solar. And there's one lady who said we just need more information. So that's what our opinions in our editorial pages are going to be about. Now, this is going to look at the overall structure of the opinion text, and it's going to be based on these four features. The writer's opinion, where it states that, the inclusion of facts that support the opinion, how they address and counter opposing viewpoints. So this one's going to be really important. They don't just say, this is my reason, but they're going to say, this is why it's better than the other reasons. This is why it's better than the other options. So that's an important part. And then they end it with a call for action. So we'll talk about what this call for action is as we go through our chart. So we're going to find these features in the structure of the letter of the editor, and we're going to fill it out. So our first, let me change our color. I'm going to start out with yellow. So the first feature I'm going to look for in the text structure is the statement of the writer's opinion. So where does it say what the writer wants? The opening sentence in paragraph 11, Hopeville should build a solar plant, sounds like it's the opinion. It's where they state it. They say this is what's going to happen. So that's what I'm going to put in my chart. So let me drag this out. Hopeville should build a power plant. So let's put that in. Let's see. My text to speech went a little wonky and for some reason just opened up that item. So let me try. There we go. So Hopeville should build a solar power plant. And then that came from what? It came from paragraph 11. So I'm just marking it so they know that's where it's from. So now what do we have next? We are going to be looking for our inclusion of facts that support the opinion because we just found this writer's opinion. So we put in our sentence chart. The next feature is looking for those facts. So I'm going to reread the text and fill out the chart with supported reasons I find, such as sunshine is free, which I see right here. So I'm going to switch colors on us so we can keep organized. Facts that support the opinion. Sunshine is free. That's one. Sunshine will always be available. What else do I see? Well, it says also, one day of sunlight contains more than twice the energy people could use in 1 year. There we go. So those are all facts that support this person's reasoning on why we should build this solar plant. So we're going to add that into our next box. Sunshine is free, it will always be available, and 1 day of sunlight contains more than twice the energy needed that we could use in a whole year. Now, I do want you to notice something. This part's a little wonky because we normally don't see it like that. We have these ellipses here, and what we have them in here for is to show you that, yeah, we copied it from the text, but we didn't copy all of it. We didn't copy this part because it wasn't important to our facts that we're using. So we put those 3 dots, they're called ellipses, to show that, hey, we're copying it from the text, but we're going to skip some part. We also have those 3 ellipses here to show that also we're still copying from the text, but now we're going to skip this beginning part because it's not important. We just want those facts that show why we should use a solar plant, that 1 day of sunlight. We don't care that Bradshaw pointed that out. Now, what you might notice if you're paying close attention is we see this right here, and we see this right here, and we see our quotation marks here and our quotation marks here. So what's going on? Remember, if we copy something, it should be two quotations. So why do we have these funky ones right here, these single ones? Well, the answer is kind of complex. It won't be on any test, but for those of you who notice, it's because we have this person, Bradshaw, he's citing in his own editorial column. And since we're citing a citation, we're citing what someone else has cited, we only use one to show that it's something that the original author is citing. Confusing? Yeah. Going to be on a test? No. Maybe you'll learn about it later on in the year and recognize it and be like, hey, I remember that. Maybe you'll wait till you're in 9th grade when they focus more on citing a citation. So now we're going to look at the rest of the chart. So we need to figure out where they address and counter the opposing viewpoints. So where else does it show that they're saying this is why it's better? And we have that for red. So where does it show that this is a reason why it's better? Well, we have this part. They're saying a solar plant is costly, but it will power clean energy more than tens of thousands of homes or more. So remember, some people said we shouldn't build it because solar plants are expensive. And this person's saying, yeah, I understand that, but it's going to power with that clean energy. And it's also saying what? They're also going to counter by saying that we still have plenty of fossil fuels, but those fossil fuels won't be around forever, which we highlighted right here. So those are our two reasons. They say, yeah, people might say this is why we should do the opposite. This is why people might say we should do the natural gas plant, but they're showing why we shouldn't based on that. They're saying fossil fuels aren't going to be around forever. They're saying, yeah, it is going to be costly, but it's going to provide clean energy for all of those homes. So let's put that part in. And let me, there we go, shrink it up. And then this calls for action one is a little bit different. Remember, a call for action is what we should do. A call for action should let the reader know this is what they should do or what you should do to support this idea. So what are they saying we should do? Well, they've actually stated in the very beginning with their opinion, they're saying that we should build a solar power plant. So that's their call for action, saying this is what we should do. And what they also do is down here at the bottom it says we should develop technology that helps us generate clean, efficient power. So those are a call for actions. They're saying this is what the town should do. This is the action that the town should take. So we're going to put those in. And now let's see if any of you guys were paying attention. Now we are missing something for almost every single one of these. And if you said, hey, Mr. Wimbley, we're missing our paragraphs, then yeah, you're right. Remember, we should always say which paragraph we got our information from. So we're going to go back and put that in. This came from paragraph 13. And our costly homes one came from paragraph 12. I'm going to shrink this size down so it will all fit in its original box. Sunshine is free, won't always be available forever. That was also paragraph 12. Oops, that was paragraph 11 to 12. So that is what we've done now. And you guys hopefully are going to do a wonderful job because you are going to fill out this features of text structures using the other articles. All right, guys, good luck. So if you remember yesterday, we worked on our hard C and soft C and our hard G and soft G. So today we're going to be working on those again as well. And we're going to be using this text on fossil fuels, what's the story? So we're going to just start out with some examples so that we remember what a hard C, hard G, soft G, soft C are. So let me make it bigger for us. There we go, our font size 16. So a hard C makes the K sound, like in cat. Oops, didn't want to write cat for us. A soft C, if you remember, makes a S sound, like in scent, makes that S sound. If If you remember a hard G, that makes the G sound like in game. And if you remember that soft C, that makes the J sound, the J sound like in giant. So now that we have some examples in there, we can remember what they sound like as we begin reading. So remember the hard and soft C and G sounds can be found at the beginning, middle, or even the end of the words. It doesn't always have to be right at the beginning. So we're going to read the first paragraph of Fossil Fuels, What's the Story? And I want you to see if you notice any words that might have a hard or soft C or G. So why are fuels like gasoline, coal, and natural gas called fossil fuels? The reason is that they come from plants and animal remains, or fossils. So that's where it got its name from. They come from where? They come from animals' remains. Millions of years ago, the earth was covered by water. When plants and animals died, they sank to the ocean floor. As the years passed, they formed a dark, spongy substance called peat. Over millions of years, sand and rocks gradually buried the peat deeper and deeper. Eventually, the fossil plants and animals turned into oil, coal, and natural gas. Today, we burn these products for fuel. That's why oil, coal, and natural gas are called fossil fuels. So, it just explained to us why they're called fossil fuels. It's kind of like fossils have turned into our energy source. Dead animals have, over millions of years, turned into gas, have turned into oil, and have turned into coal. Now, I found this word, spongy. We're going to talk about why I found it in a moment. Where did you go? Right here. Now, in this first paragraph, we see that peat is a spongy substance. I might not know what the word spongy is, so I'm going to try saying it with a hard G sound. Spongy. I've never heard of spongy before. That doesn't make a word that I've recognized, so I'm going to try it with a soft G sound. Spongy. Pronounce it this way. I recognize that the word sponge is inside the word spongy, like in SpongeBob SquarePants. And I know SpongeBob is squishy because he's a sponge, so I think spongy means squishy and soft, like a sponge. So peat is squishy and soft. It's a squishy and soft substance. Now, we're going to read the rest of this selection. And as we're reading it, we're going to look for some hard C's or soft G's or hard, whatever, you know, the hard C's, soft C's, hard G's, soft G's. I can never remember which ones I've already said. And we're just going to highlight them as we go through, all right? So I'm going to do this first paragraph for you, and then you guys are going to do paragraphs 2 and 3. So I see right here, I see the word coal. I see the word come. So I'm looking for those hard C's right here. I see the word, we're skimming and scanning. There's coal again, even though we already have it highlighted. And, okay. So now I'm going to look for some hard G's. Ooh, there's that gas that I see. And there's another gas right there, another coal. Oh, there's one. It's buried in the middle. We have a go. So that makes that G sound. So remember, that G is in the middle, so it was trying to hide from us, but we found it. And oh, look, there's another gas, and gasolines. We have a lot there. And then we have the one we already talked about, spongy. So I'm going to put all these words in, and then you guys are going to see which ones you find in our next paragraphs as I read it. So we have coal, we have come, we have, ooh, I see also in there, I see covered. That one slipped by. And I also see the word, ooh, products. Now this one's kind of interesting because that C is at the end, products. And then we have over here, we have no soft C's that I found. None that makes that S sound, like in Center City. But the hard G's we found were gasoline. We found gas many times. and we also found a go. And our soft G's, the only one I found was spongy. All right, so let's head to these next ones. And remember, you're looking for those hard, soft C's and G's. So, what's the problem? Let's continue. Oh, there's one. Oops, but you're supposed to be doing it. Let's continue the story. Every living thing has carbon in it. For example, a 10-pound person is 18 pounds of carbon. When we burn fossil fuel to generate electricity or power a car, boat, plane, we release the carbon stored in the fuel. For example, 1 gallon, which is 6.3 pounds of gasoline, produces about 20 pounds of carbon dioxide. Crazy. Think about that. That means we burn gasoline and it actually produces more gas. It weighs more than what we started with. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is a greenhouse gas. It works to trap heat in Earth's atmosphere. This is good, but only up to a point. An increase in CO2 in the atmosphere can cause Earth's temperature to rise, changing our planet's climate. What's being done? Many nations realize the importance of substituting other sources of energy for fossil fuels. They're looking to wind and solar power, for example, to help meet the world's needs. So you guys are going to put in what other words you found that have those hard or soft C or G's. Okay, I'm going to show you the ones that I found. So I found in our text, for our C's, I found in paragraph 2, I found continue, I found carbon, I found car, I found increase. So that C was in the middle. Can, cause, and the last one I found was climate. So most of them were at the beginning. For my soft C's, I wasn't as successful. I only found electricity, I found produce, and I found sources. Those are the only ones I found. Hard G's, I found gallon, and I found greenhouse gas. And for soft G, I only found 3. I found generate, I found changing, and I found energy. Oops, but I have to spell it right. Energy. There we go. All right, so that is what we have for those soft G's and those hard G's, and soft C's and hard C's. So now what you're going to do is you guys are going to tell me which of our spelling words are going to go in these sentences. So our spelling words, let me put them on here for us, and they're also in the question box. But our spelling, oops, those aren't our spelling words. So here we have our spelling words. Much better. So you guys are going to figure out where these words go. Which sentences do they go in? So I'll read them for you, and then good luck. Sentence number, our spelling words, I'll read them for you first. Carbon, energy, gasoline, important. Electricity, gallon, generate, substance. Sentence 1 is burning fossil fuel releases blank into the atmosphere. Power plants burn fossil fuel to create blank. Oil is a dark flammable blank, usually found underground. I understand the blank of reducing our country's greenhouse gas emissions. We use blank to make our cars run. If I want to drive from New York to Pennsylvania, I'll need more than 1 blank of gas. How much electricity would a solar plant be able to blank? And number 8, in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we are looking for other sources of blank. Good luck, you guys.